Okay, looking at your file here, first thing we notice is that the geometry here is shown using a solid by the little blue can with the S tells me that the chain was used with a solid. Another thing I've already noticed inside of your file is the chain direction. The chain direction in this case was set for right, being that when you chain the outside provol, you didn't keep the arrow going toward the left, for example, and keeping the tool on the left-hand side for G41 cutter comp. Instead, by reversing it here, getting it to cut the outside that you wanted. Actually, you want to always follow the direction of the arrow being inside or outside. So what we're going to go ahead and do, reviewing that real quick, is that we're going to go ahead and create our curve and rechain. So as we already know that the solids will not support the tabs function, so you need a curve. So Alt-Z on my keyboard, and I will create level 2 and bottom curves. Say OK. I'd like to change my color, it doesn't match my solid. I'll change that to 12. And I'm going to flip the model over. Let's go ahead and Alt-S to shade it. And we'll go ahead and use the options of Create, Curve, All Edges, using the Activate Solid Selection, using the Face option, this face here, saying OK. You can see it gives us a representation of the curves around the outside and around the holes. Saying OK to apply that. I have my geometry there now. So now I'm going to go ahead and use your geometry, being the chain geometry. Left click here, right click, and rechain all. But actually, real quickly, we should be able to double click this and see there's the loop. There is your arrow showing you going the other direction. The direction you want to go is this way to keep the tool on the outside. So I'm going to rechain all, and I'm going to select toward the right side to get my arrow to go that direction, so I get the tool on the left-hand side, left-hand cutter comp G41. Say OK. Say OK again. And I'm going to go ahead and show you that I'm going to regenerate that real quick. And you can see in this case that your tool path is on the inside. Not a problem. So the first thing we do is go back in there and set it, since I changed it the correct way, would be to set it for left-hand side. And that way we can use cutter comp and set it for wear on that. So I'll go ahead and see regenerate. And now we can actually, I'll go, in this case, see the tool path. I'll left click on here so we can get the verify to come up. I'm sorry, that would be the back plot. The back plot to come up, and we can see the G code because I have it set for showing me the trace. So we can see that we do get our curves that come up and down, showing it leaves the tool rises and falls and leaves us the tabs that you have created on that. So when we go back in here and we actually verify that now, so I'll right click where it says tool path in this case, and we'll run through it. We'll see the tabs show up. You can already start to see them there. Then you come back and you cut them off. Notice that after I went back in there and looked a secondary times, looking at your parameters and looking at your tabs, tab cutoff, and you had this activated. So in that case, if I undo that, regenerate that, now you can see the lifts for the material that you wanted to leave in there on that. So now if we go ahead and verify that, right click here again, run through that, we can see that it's going to go ahead and leave those tabs standing on that. So we could go ahead and say, let's cut that here and look at that here. We can see that there's your tabs. There's one there, and the other one, of course, is inside of here. So selecting that, putting it back the way it was. So that should take you through creating the curve for the bottom. You can see our red curve that we can actually turn on or off on that. Rechaining that takes care of it. Looking at your direction. When you explain to the students, make sure they understand about when it comes to contouring, about the direction of the arrow being left or right, being the tool staying to the left being climb cut compared to conventional, and G41 or G42 cutter comp on that. And but when it comes to a pocket, of course, there is no rule of left or right because it's a contained area. I hope this helps. Thanks.